Good afternoon, good evening. We'll call the meeting to order. This is the study session starting at 5:30. I think our first agenda item is Mr. Jerry Stabley, who's here to talk to us about the AARP program. It's a third grade reading program that's done in all of the elementary school, a lot of the districts now in Pinal County. I don't think it's in quite all of them yet, but that's their goal. And I know they're in most of our elementary schools here. So Jerry, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, members of the City Council, for the opportunity to say thank you and to kind of bring you up to speed on where we are with our second and third grade reading program. And Stephen gave me the clicker here, and let me see if I can figure it out. There we go. So reading tutoring, and again, we're tutoring second and third graders, we see it as an economic development tool. And that's why we're part of Achieve Pinal, part of the Pinal Alliance, is because where there's 30,000 high-paying jobs that either exist or are coming to Pinal County that will require reading and analysis skills. When I was a young person, I worked in a factory, and I made 10,000 parts at a time, and basically I was part of the machine, and that's not the case anymore. The machines are doing most of the work, and the people are managing and taking care of the machines. So why focus on reading? First, children learn to read, then they read to learn, and being able to read by the end of third grade really is the crucial milestone in a child's future success. Children who cannot read well by the end of third grade are 4 times more likely to leave school without a diploma, and they're more prone to engage in behaviors such as truancy and aggression, often because they can't read, and they see that other people can read and they don't know why, and so they're trying to figure that out, and sometimes they misbehave because of that. So why do we need a reading program here in Pinal County? First of all, the goal for the state is to have 72% of our students reading at grade level in third grade. The state, we're at 41%. Unfortunately, Pinal County, we've gone down just a couple notches to 32%. And bear in mind also that, again, the reading by the end of third grade is the crucial milestone in a child's future success. So just a little bit about the AARP Foundation Experience Corps, which we are part of. There's 25 other affiliates across the United States. It's a literacy program that helps students up to 1.5 years below grade level. So these are children, they're mainstream students. They just haven't crossed that threshold yet to become strong readers by the end of third grade. So we improve the reading ability of students by building fluency, and basically fluency is being able to read at the pace of which you talk. And then accuracy and comprehension then follow. Once you reach fluency, then the comprehension comes as a part of that. So our program started in the middle of a pandemic in June of 2020. So we began tutoring in November of 2020 virtually, and we did almost our tutoring in that first year virtually. Just in the Casa Grande Elementary School District, we tutored in 3 schools with 60 volunteers and had 94 students. Actually, starting off in the middle of a pandemic is a bit of an advantage for us because we know how to run a program both in person and online. And so we can recruit tutors from across the United States to help us with our program. And we have done that, and we do have tutors from across the United States helping us with our program here in Pinal County. So our results after 4 years, we've had a total of 637 students. And I'm proud to say in this past school year, 83% of the students in the program progressed at least 1 grade level, and 38% progressed at least 2 grade levels. And that includes all the students in the program. This was an expansion year for us. In many cases, we were able to tutor for the entire 5 months. In some cases, we got a lot less time. There were some students that got like 1 or 2 sessions. But with that in mind, we included all the students that we tutored this past year. So every student that took part in the program last year is shown in that statistics. So whether they got 1 to 2 sessions or whether they got 50 sessions, you know, they grew. Some of them took off with a couple sessions, and it's really just a matter of confidence. In many cases, it's a matter of the confidence. Once they're confident that they can move on, they can do well. So this compares to nationwide statistics for the AARP program. So again, those 26 affiliates. 62% of the students grew at 1 half grade level. So you see how much better we're doing we're doing than the rest of the nation. Here's some pictures of our end of the year ceremonies. You can see the bond that's created between the student and the tutor, and that is so very, very important. The students trust the tutors, they like the tutors, they tell you all sorts of very interesting things. It's really quite amazing to spend time with them. And so because of that, they progress. They progress in their reading. Our volunteers, this is just for this past year. So nationwide, again for this last year, for AARP Experience Corps, 1 volunteer contributed over 500 hours, 26 volunteers contributed between 250 and 500 hours. And all these people were from our program. So all the top producers, all the top hourly people who put in the most hourly were from our program. As a matter of fact, 21% of all volunteers who contributed more than 100 hours to the program were from Achiepano, and this is nationwide. So across the country, almost a quarter of all the people that contributed over 100 hours. So that's really the secret, of course, of our success, is our volunteers. The volunteers are absolutely critical to this program, and they're doing a wonderful, wonderful job. Future, next year, we'll be in our 5th year, and we're planning for 8 districts. You can see all the ones that we're planning to be in next year, and we look forward to working with all of them. We're looking to serve 23 schools, but 8 of those will be in the Casa Grande Elementary School District. So we're looking to serve each and every elementary school in the district. So that's over a quarter of all the schools we're going to serve are still in Casa Grande Elementary School District. And this is up from the 13 schools that we served in 23-24. To do this, we'll need anywhere between 115 and 130 volunteers. We already have 86 signed up, and we have 29 that are in the pipeline, potential volunteers. Our staff is very dedicated to finding new volunteers wherever they can, however they can. I recruit almost everywhere I go, airports, wherever. I recruit wherever I go. On cruises, yeah. So, and remember, as I mentioned before, we can tutor virtually. So if you have an aunt that lives in Maryland, she can do it. You have an uncle that's kind of bored, lives in Salt Lake City, he's looking for something to do. They can be part of this program. So funding this rural model, and again, we are the only truly rural program in the AARP program. There are others that are in large cities that serve rural areas. We are the only one that is located in a rural area exclusively. And we get about 80% of our funding from grants, donation, and events, 20% coming from school districts, municipalities, and supervisor districts here in the county. So this is my chance to say thank you so very much for your support. This program would never have happened without the support of the city of Casa Grande. Your staff has been excellent. You've given us funding. You've given us space to have offices in, and we just can't thank you enough for helping us get this program off the ground and keeping this program going and growing, and allowing us to serve someday, hopefully, all of Pinal County. That would be our goal by the end of this decade. We'd like to be able to at least offer it to all the school districts in Pinal County. And with that, Mayor, I look forward to any questions you might have.
Any questions, anyone?
Just
Lisa?
a comment. You know, Jerry, thank you, because you're right. You are out everywhere promoting this program, you and the other group. So thank you. And, you know, I remember those days, you know, when I had 3 kids and the stresses of teaching them to read, and all of them, you know, are at different levels. But I remember I had one that I had a challenge, you know, getting her to that level, that 3rd grade level. And so there was tutors that I counted on. But, you know, you talk about 637 students, so that's 637 families that you're helping.
Exactly.
I mean, those parents, you know, that are at work all day and come home and try to get them to, you know, the levels they need to be. You know, it means so much to those families. And so I just applaud you and all of your volunteers for doing it. I would love to be part of this at some point in my life. I don't know if I will right now, but at some point. But literally, thank you, because I'm sure it means so much to these families.
Well, thank you. And you have to be 45 to participate, so you have a way to go, but once you get there, you can help us out. That would be great. Yeah.
Just another year or two.
We also, the other thing to consider is not just the families when they're children, but these people will grow up, and they, as you know, they grow up really quick, and they'll have their own families, and their own families will benefit if they're able
Right.
to read, to reason, to be able to get good jobs. That helps their family as they grow.
Yeah, no, this has been a great program. Jerry, as you know, I've been involved with you guys from the start, and it's great to see the expansion of the program as well. I remember we started, it was just 3 schools, and, you know, begging the elementary school to work with us. And but I think if you were to ask Dr. Leckie and the teachers, they would sing the praises of the program. It's really been effective. When you can see kids improve a grade and a half, at least a grade, but to a grade and a half from where they were reading before, that's pretty phenomenal. And I think our numbers are actually better than the average. So
They are,
which
yes.
speaks highly to our volunteers. So they do a great job. So
It does.
thank you, Jerry.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, Matt, go ahead.
Also, yeah, I just wanted to say, a few people that live on my street, retired folks, are volunteers, and it does a lot for them as well. They really see the value of it, and it helps them, you know, and they're contributing to the community, and they're helping the kids and the families, but it really gives them a sense of you know, pride and something to do, and they're excited about doing it. So that's
Absolutely.
another neat thing. It benefits both sides of the equation.
It does, absolutely.
Donna?
You know, and Jerry, I know I was an observer when we first started the program back when, you know, when it started. Just for clarification, because all these volunteers have to be managed and the schedules and all that, how many staff are helping with this program?
Right now, we have 5 staff people.
Okay,
Yeah,
good. Thank you.
thank you.
Started with 1.
We did, yes, we did.
And Jerry.
I helped when I could, yeah.
Great.
All
Well,
right.
thank you, Jerry. Appreciate it.
Thank you all so
Thank you.
very much.
Thank you. All right, next is solar project. Larry?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, we've asked our partners from Verigy to join us this evening. As the mayor and council is aware, we've had a goal for sustainability, and we've really focused on solar. And the Verigy team came in most recently, and we've started kicked off the project for the wastewater expansion, or the wastewater treatment plant. And we shifted our focus shortly after we got to a point where we could move into construction to rec center. And these gentlemen came in and actually did a bit of an evaluation on our existing infrastructure that we have in place as well. It's hard to believe that it's been roughly 17 years ago that we went through our first energy project where we updated our lighting and many of our pieces of equipment and the like. And so many of those pieces of equipment are starting to reach their useful life. And so you'll hear tonight that we've taken on we're proposing a project. The mayor and council will hear a bit about that project, hear a bit about the financing components of it this evening. And certainly, I believe they have a schedule that they'll be outlining as well. But with that, I'll turn it over to Mr. Dick Williams and Mr. Edward Farrell.
Thank you, Larry, and good evening, Mayor and members of the council. Along with my colleague, Dick Williams, my name's Edward Farrell with Verigy, and we're here to present an energy savings project to you this evening that started at the first of the year, as Larry said, and has led to what we have here tonight. Before we get started with the agenda discussion, I just want to bring big kudos to your Deputy Manager, Robert Aldous, and Manny Hernandez. They were huge components in this, in helping us get to where we are as far as getting billing history, all the data needed to do this research, and then including site walks and site tours and all the different facilities. Those gentlemen were very cooperative with us and opened their arms for us, and that was very huge in helping us get to the point where we are tonight. So tonight, we're going to discuss the existing conditions of what your situation is. We'll talk about our scope of work plan, the 30-year savings summary, the 1 GPA contract that you can go through procurement with, benefits for the city of Casa Grande, talk about the next steps, and then questions and comments. To kind of give you an example, you want to work that in? An example of your existing conditions here at City Hall. What kind of started this project was about this time last year. We were in front of you for a project at the wastewater treatment plant, as Larry mentioned. And the day of that council meeting, my colleague Dick Williams flew in and met with who was then your deputy manager, Mackenzie Letcher. It was in the middle of July, and Dick remembers it vividly. He was coming in from Michigan, and it was 117 degrees that day. Well, Mackenzie comes down to me.
I was in purgatory.
Mackenzie comes down to meet with them about 3 o'clock in the afternoon in a goose down jacket. And Dick was like, "What in the world are you doing?" And Mackenzie was like, "You just can't imagine how freezing cold it is in my office." So he went on to tell us how your cooling tower, your chilling tower, and all of that has come to its life cycle, as Larry shared with you. Time flies when you're having fun, right, Larry? And all of your life cycle equipment here at City Hall has come to its use. And you'll see there you've got an existing cooling tower. If you look at the foundation underneath it, you'll see that it's very badly cracked. Not me? Sorry about that, Council. You'll see that your foundation on your cooling tower is cracked, and the back one behind that one has got another crack that's starting. So we're going to lift that chilling tower up and go ahead and replace all 4 of the foundations there. Your old chiller and your controls are over 25 years old, and you have an old HVAC system in your IT computer room. We're going to go ahead and change it. So as far as the scope of work, we're going to do a complete replacement of your chiller here at City Hall. We're going to replace the HVAC in your IT computer room. And then we're going to do a conversion of LED lighting in all the facilities that you see there. If a facility comes to mind that's not on that list, it's because that particular facility has already been converted into LED. The idea here, by converting all this into LED in all your facilities, is it gives you 100% consistency of the same lighting, actually the same exact bulb throughout all of your facilities. So you've got that consistent look no matter what facility you're going into. And we're also going to go in and replace all of your exterior lighting, of your decorative ornament lighting here at City Hall, Pert Park, and downtown. The beauty of that is we're going to gut out all of the fixtures, but on the outside of the fixtures, we're not changing anything. It'll look exactly the way it's looked, and we'll have 100% of them all lit up for you in LED lighting. The beauty of this lighting project is all the interior and exterior lighting that we do will come with a 10-year warranty. So if any light bulb in any of the facilities or any of the exterior lighting goes out within the next 10 years, it gets replaced at no cost. So that's going to be a huge plus for your maintenance team, because for the next 10 years, they literally don't have to worry about any light bulb changing. So,
And just if I could just interject a point there, when we started doing our tours with, Manny and his guys, Scott and a couple of the other guys, they were telling us about the challenges that they were incurring because, as Larry said, these are 17-year-old lights. They're starting to fail now, and they can't get those replacement parts for them. So in some cases, they're coming up with like retrofit kits that weren't really designed for those fixtures, and that's why there's not like adequate lighting, for instance, downtown, because the bulb that they're using in there is not, sufficient to cover that whole the street and the sidewalk. So
go ahead and turn the slide. So the last part, nope, you went one too far. Oh, that's solar, isn't it? Okay, so I'm sorry, go back to the previous slide. I apologize, Council. So the last part is going to be solar shade structures with parking shade structures with solar canopies at your Boys and Girls Club Center. It's going to consist of a 300 kilowatt solar system project that's going to be 83% offset, and it's going to be able to park 74 vehicles under those shaded parking structures. So we have a feeling they'll probably be the 74 most popular spots in that parking lot at the Boys and Girls Club. So everything we mentioned, the work of scope, is the cash flow summary, is if you look at the second line with the 20-year savings and grants, it's a little under $6 million over the 20-year span. Financing this project with $0 down, not taking any capital money out of your budget, your total payments would be about $5.899 million. So you see there, you have plenty of money in your savings and the grant that kicks in with the IRA to pay for this project. The 30-year total savings with the grants is a little over $8.5 million, with the 30-year cumulative total savings of $2.89 million. Your Inflation Reduction Act estimated grant is a little over 300 grand. Go ahead and turn the next one. So, as we mentioned earlier, the suggested state procurement method would be the one GPA state contract that the city of Casa Grande is definitely a member of.
And we use that on phase 1 for the wastewater plant as well.
So the benefits of this project are, as I mentioned, you're going to be able to fund this project by leveraging the IRA grant along with your energy and operational savings. No more goose downs at City Hall. And you're also going to have improved exterior and interior lighting that's going to create safer streets at nighttime. And you're going to show fiscal and environmental responsibility and leadership to your constituents here in Casa Grande. So the suggested next steps of the project is we presented the contract to your legal counsel last Monday, and they've reviewed that and are preparing for approval on the July 1st meeting. We're here tonight on the ordinance hearing presenting this to you, along with the Raymond James debt resolution that Larry is going to go in with you. The final city council approval meeting would be your next council meeting on July 1st with contract authorization. And then the project kickoff meeting would be scheduled for August 1st. Startup would be January of next year, with the completion of the project about this time in 2025. So with that, we'll open it up with any questions, council.
Questions? I did notice you were going to replace the lighting here at City Hall. Is that the outside lighting?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
All the decorative lighting.
Oh, like the old street lamp style?
Yes, sir.
Are we going to keep the street lamps, or are they going to be replaced?
We're going to gut the lamps out and put all new components inside of the
And
lamps.
repaint them for us?
We're going to repaint them.
So they'll look nice and bright green
the
like our
building?
garbage cans?
The building.
Could you paint the building while you're at it?
The LED lighting will be nice and bright, Mayor.
Yeah, all right, appreciate that.
You bet.
All right, no other questions. Thank you, guys. Larry, you got some
Yes, Mr. Mayor,
additional
if I can
comments?
just add one particular comment. Mr. Farrell talked very briefly on that. You did see in that calendar that there was a potential resolution for financing, and ultimately what that resolution would achieve is that it will allow us to be reimbursed for any costs we expend over a period of time if we elect to pursue financing. We have, as a staff, been discussing the potential of bringing cash to the table as well. That's what we've typically done in a number of the other projects where we're mixing some level of financing with some level of capital investment. And I know that Mr. Farrell talked specifically about no need to allocate. We want to evaluate that and at least let council have a consideration on that. And so you can anticipate that in the request for council action that there'll be some level of evaluation and options for you to consider. But that resolution is specific to that. The good news is that any cash we bring to the table ultimately results in a net additional savings to the overall project. And so with that, Mr. Mayor, and I will tell you that we have had some very preliminary discussions about repainting those light poles when they're down. I've not talked to Edward or Dick about that yet, but certainly Those particular light fixtures were installed at the same time that the City Hall campus was renovated, so 1997-ish, so they're even a little bit older than some of the other equipment that we've got in place today. So we are evaluating. I will say, one of the differences between the trash cans and those light fixtures, we want to try to mirror that color, obviously, but we did have some issues when Ellison Mills was working on those particular trash outlets, if you will. They had some difficulty finding the color match to the color that we had, those poles were originally painted. But the key in all of this is that we want to maintain continuity throughout the areas where they are located. We want the same fixture. If you walk through the City Hall campus today, you'll find that lights are on occasion out because of some of the issues that have been outlined this evening. We want to get back to a point to where they're all on.
Great. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else, Larry?
With both of these groups, they indicated they thought their presentation would be 20 minutes each. It looks like they achieved it collectively in 20 minutes. So we're going to yield back 25 minutes to the council because our special meeting to consider our budgets in the CFD is not scheduled until 6:30.
Right. Okay. Well, then we'll stand adjourned until 6:30.
All right.
Thank you, everyone.
Free time.
Feed me. I'm gonna take 3. Go in 9th grade. 3. No, not already.